Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for today's STEM Quick Win. We have another STEM professional with us today that's going to share a little bit about what he does in his STEM journey. With me today is Kevin Allison from the Marion County Soil and Water Conservation District. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So first of all, the Marion County Soil and Water Conservation District, can you tell us a little bit about what that is or what you do as a group?
Yeah, sure. We're kind of a small staff, but we think we do a lot. Actually, in I think the 1930s, after the Dust Bowl, where there was a lot of erosion happening on farm fields across the country, pretty much about every square foot in America is covered by some kind of conservation district. So there's conservation districts in California, New York, and here in Indiana. Here in Indiana, each county has one. So our job primarily is to help farmers just take good care of their soil and keep it productive and help keep it on the land and not so much washing out into the rivers and waterways. Here in Indianapolis, it's a little bit more urban, of course. I personally help urban farmers and vegetable growers, but we've also got some staff that just works on works with other organizations and partners just to keep our waterways clean, help like those doing construction, help those entities do better at keeping all the sediment or soil on site and not necessarily in our waterways. Yeah.
All right. So your group is kind of like the superheroes for natural resources, like in Indianapolis, right? Kind of protecting our soil and water and keeping it kind of healthy for everyone.
Exactly. We should get some caves.
Right? That would be awesome. So what is your current title? What is it that you do?
Yeah. My current title is Urban Soil Health Specialist. Okay. So, yeah, when you think about soil, it's not necessarily dirt. It's actually alive. There's a lot of organisms down there. There's a lot of earthworms. And all those things, all that life is super, super important into soil quality and just the productivity of the soil. So my job is to educate people, in particular farmers and people growing food, about how they can utilize that and use that soil life to make more productive farms and more productive ecosystems.
So what does a day look like for you? What do you do kind of in your day-to-day?
Okay. My favorite days would be visiting farms. I know we were in Indianapolis and you think, okay, there's not farmland per se, but there really is. I've probably worked with about 120 different organizations that do growing, whether that be community gardens that raise, that have 10 boxes with people growing food, or a market farm that's selling at market, or a church that's donating food to food pantries, or one in particular is on park ground and they also donate all their food to food pantries. So my favorite days is just like working one-on-one or in small groups with these growers, just to help thinking through, just how to be more productive. I think on farm has got to be my favorite kind of thing. And then there's also some computer work that goes along with that with every job, I think. But that could include, trying to get grants, for example, to do special projects, mainly with farmers. So that takes some background work, but it, and a lot of calculations and working on budgets and how all that ties into the project. But it's all worth it at the end once the trees get planted.
Yeah. So basically, I think you kind of answered it. My next question was, why do you do what you do? And I think you kind of mentioned that you just kind of like working with groups of people to help make sure that the plants that they're growing are as healthy and productive as they can be. Is there anything else, any other reasons really why you do what you do, why you're a soil health specialist?
Yeah. I think our generation, or every generation, they want to make an impact on the environment, or they should, right? So I saw an opportunity to make an impact on the environment, and also the health of our social network and the health of society. I think a good way of doing that is through food and good, nutritious food. So that's where I saw an opportunity to make a difference. And if you do agriculture there's damaging ways to do agriculture that can actually damage the soil. It's a really good opportunity just to help people grow food in an environmentally sustainable way.
Yeah, and I like that because with the STEM connection, you've helped us a lot with our garden areas and things, and we like to help kids know where food comes from and how we can grow the most and the healthiest food. So I think that kind of goes together, is just kind of helping people understand what it takes to grow food and where that food comes from, and kind of help with that whole kind of community, society aspect, making it a better place.
Absolutely.
So I'm not sure that when you were younger, you really set out to be a soil health specialist, but maybe. Can you share with us a little bit about your STEM journey and kind of how you ended up where you are now?
Sure. So what I did know when I was young, I did not know I was going to be a soil health specialist, of course. who would ever dream that? But
quite specific.
I did know I like to be outside. I like to play outside. I like to if you asked me to go on vacation, I'd love to go to national park and just spend there and camp and whatnot. So without knowing exactly what I wanted to do, I ended up going to college at Indiana University to get into environmental science, which isn't exactly like a specific. It's not like biology. Like I know I'm going to study animals, or forestry. I know I'm going to study the forest, but environmental science kind of pulls all those things together and looks at, how do people interact with ecosystems in nature. So I knew it would be a good foundation for any kind of direction I wanted to go. So after I got out of college, a few years later, after working some in the private industry, I joined the Peace Corps, United States Peace Corps, and did some work in the Dominican Republic.
Cool.
During that time there, a farmer lent me probably about a quarter an acre, and I started an environmental youth group, and we grew food. And with the food we sold, we would take those kids on field trips and whatnot. So anyways, great experience. Started to really enjoy growing food. And when I got back to Indiana, I just kind of realized that there was this change happening in agriculture. People and farmers were starting to look more at the environment and the sustainability of soil and soil life. So I think that's kind of where I just kind of transitioned into working in this field.
Nice. Thanks. So in Indiana, and we've talked about this pretty much in all of our interviews, so in Indiana we have our employability skills standards. So whenever we talk to our STEM professionals, we like to have them share with us a couple of those that are really important for the jobs that they do and to help them be successful. So can you share with us a couple of those, or one or two of those employability skills that are important for your work?
Yeah. Well, I think lifelong learning would be important there. So I didn't. When I was younger, I worked a little bit on my grandpa's farm with my dad and my brother, and but we didn't really. I wasn't really directly involved in a garden per se, or helping with really technical aspects of the farming. So now that I'm into it, I've been doing this for like 10 years. So I think that as of like 10 seasons of learning, every season, vegetable planting, you do something a little bit different, or you learn something and you try to get better at it. So I've got hopefully about 40 seasons left. And, so I will I place a lot of importance on learning more every year. And another one might be connection. Kind of follows suit because, making good connections, not only with the natural world, but with other farmers and other people that are growing food. Kind of accelerate that lifelong learning by learning from what they've learned. So it's really important, those networks and just sharing information. And in order to do that, you should be connected to those people, and you should, some of the farmers I work with are now really friends, of course. So it's just a lot easier when we're talking more, and then we can share more and just get better at what we do while having good relationships.
Yeah, well, thanks. And then one of our other favorite questions to always ask our STEM professionals is what sorts of tools or technology do you use or that are helpful for your job?
Okay. I think it's really cool when I'll ask like farmers that, like the small farmers, the ones that are growing like vegetables, like what's your, favorite, like some of your favorites, like technology. And they always talk about just the new hand tools. Like it might be, for example, or a rake that has just a new little twist to it that makes their job so much easier. But I will say that my favorite tool is seeds. If you can see that.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, like I think mainly to help people be able to plant better and grow better food and better soil, and we can do that by the kinds of plants we choose, and basically the roots is what I'm trying to get at. So if I plant seeds at the right time and the right kind of seed, the roots of these plants just make the soil better. I don't know if you've heard of cover crops. I think you haven't, but yeah. So that's these are cover crop seeds actually. So after we harvest a vegetable, we'll be planting this in the garden. And over the winter, these roots of these seeds of these plants will end up making the soil better. So it's just, I think that's a really cool technology and a really cool tool that we use in my field.
Yeah, thanks. So that's a little bit outside of what people think. I know a lot of times you think tools and technologies, like they have to be something elaborate or something electronic or something like that. But no, and there's a lot of science that goes into those seeds as well, and making them seeds, kinds of seeds that they can be for what you want to do with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So my last question for you, especially because this is one of our STEM quick wins, and so we like to try to encourage kids and families to get out and do something, is what are some things that you think kids or families can do when they're at home or in their neighborhood to help make the soil or the natural resources near them healthy?
Yeah, good question. So find a place that you wouldn't maybe think like a bare spot in a yard or someplace where the grass isn't growing well. And let's say this May, just stick a shovel in there and count the earthworms. And that kind of gives you a measure about how healthy that soil is. The healthier it is, the more life you're going to have in there, right? So if you don't see much, plant something. Plant flowers. Plant some native grasses. Something native that does really well here in Indiana. And then next May, do the same thing. Check out underneath that plant and count the earthworms. And I think you'll be surprised about how much you can do with just planting a few plants here and there.
I like that, right? You can just take kind of care of your own space where you are and do your little part there. And if everybody does a little bit of something, then over time, everything will be better for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, so go out, and I'm sure my girls will love going to do that. I'm sure we'll give it a try here sometime in the next couple of weeks, going out and kind of feel like digging in the soil anyway. So we'll kind of do a little organism count and see what we find, and then see if we can do something to improve that and help all those critters and help keep our soil healthy. So, all right, well, Kevin, those are all of my questions for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we hope to see you soon.
Okay, see you soon. Take care.
All right, bye.